हेलो एवरीबॉडी, मैं आप सबके सामने एक नए वीडियो के साथ उपस्थित हूँ एंड द न्यू वीडियो इज ऑन द पोएम with the title My Mother at 66. This poem is prescribed in the syllabus of Class 12 English CBSE English Class 12. This present poem has been composed by Kamla. तो मैं इसको ना बाइलिंगुअल रहने की कोशिश करूँगा। मैं थोड़ा इंग्लिश बोलूँगा, थोड़ा हिंदी बोलूँगा, ये आप सबके लिए सुविधाजनक होगा। तो इस पोएम को मैं आज मैं डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ। जो मेरा लिटरेरी जो वीडियोस हैं उनका ये तीसरी कड़ी है और सीबीएसई की जो इंग्लिश की जो कड़ी है वो पहली कड़ी है। सो नाउ आई स्टार्ट विद द पोएम with the title My Mother at 66. This poem has been composed by Kamla. Kamla, I tell you something about Kamla. Who is she? Kamla is one of the greatest, or we can say one of the most pioneer poetess of India. She was born at Malabar in Kerala, okay, in 1934. She was born in Kerala at Malabar in 1934. She was convent educated. She had her early education in Kolkata. Later on, she moved to Mumbai. She was married at the early age of 15. Her husband was an economist surveyor in the Reserve Bank of India. She wrote both in Malayalam and English. In Malayalam, she wrote something with the name Madhavi Putti, and in English with Kamla Das. She wrote some novels and short stories as well as poems. She composed 5 collections of poetry and she published her short stories with the title Padmavati the Harlot and other stories. Okay? And she published her novel with the title The Alphabet of Lust in 1977. She was the editor of Illustrated Weekly also, and she is famous for her sensitive writing. Her works are known for originality, subtleties, and indigenous style of writing. Okay. So here before us there is one poem. This is My Mother at 66. Now I begin. I read some lines. The lines are here. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. I saw my mother beside me. Before I start, I tell you something about this poem, that the whole poem has been composed in single sentence. A lot of subordinate clauses have been used here. A lot of subordinate clauses have been used, incomplete sentences and phrases have been used there. And then this whole poem, we can say, it is in single sentence. Okay. She discusses in her poem, the sensitive, human relationships, subtleties in the human relationship. Here also, she discusses the subtleties in the relationship of human beings. See, the line is here. I tell you the background of the poem. The situation is that it is Friday morning and she is driving in her car, or she is driving the car, and she is taking her mother, and she is going to Cochin because she herself has to catch the flight and go to Mumbai. But her mother in the same car is going to drop her at the Cochin. Okay? Perhaps the driver is driving the car. And her mother is sitting beside her. Okay? Her mother is at the age of 66. See now what happens. The poem begins with the lines, driving from my parents' home. where she starts her journey? She starts her journey from the home at Malabar. Okay. Where she was going? She was going to Cochin. From where she started her journey? She started her journey along with her mother from Malabar. She is going to airport. Cochin airport she is going. For what she is going to airport? Because she has to catch the flight and she will have to go to Mumbai because her husband and her children live there. Okay. It was the matter of Friday morning. It was Friday morning. Okay. I saw my mother beside me. Here the situation is in the car where she was sitting in the seat beside her, on the seat beside her, her mother was sitting. Okay. After some time, she saw her mother's mouth was open and she dozed off. She felt asleep. Who saw? Kamla Das saw her mother, who was sitting beside her. She dozed off. She fell asleep. And her mouth was opened. Generally, it happens when a person sleeps, her mouth or his mouth is left open. In the same manner, her mother's mouth was open. Okay? And her face was ashen like that. Whose face was ashen like that? Her mother's face was. Her mother's face was ashen like that. What's the meaning of ashen like that? The meaning of ashen like that is that there was no expression on the face. There was no expression. When man is alive or woman is alive, there is expression. Expression of being alive. There is that. But when a person is in sleep, there is the face becomes expressionless. Okay, like that only. Her face was expressionless, ashen-like. Ashen-like means expressionless. Here, like the word has been used here. The word like has been used to compare. The word has been used to compare. Whose face? The face which has expression. Okay. A face which has no expression, generally in sleep or in death, in the position of death, that has been compared to the face of her mother. Okay, her face, the facial expression of her mother was ashen like that, without expression at that time. It was okay. Of a corpse, what kind of? So here her face was compared with the face of the dead body. Corpse means here dead body. So her face had. Her mother's face had no expression. Her face seemed appeared like that of corpse or dead body, and realized with pain. Here the realization came. With whom realization came? Realization came with whom? So the realization came. Who realized this? The pain. Who realized the pain? It was Kamla Das, the poet herself, who has composed this poem, who was there. She saw her mother. So that Kamla Das, okay, who is the daughter of that lady, her mother. That lady is at 66. Okay, that was, her face was expressionless, and who realized the pain? Kamla Das realized the pain when she saw her mother's face was expressionless. For a short while, she realized that her mother was no more. Perhaps she had passed away. So for a short while, a thought came to her mind that her mother is no more now. She is not alive. All of a sudden, a deep pain came into her mind. She felt or she realized the pain. What kind of pain is here? The question will come by the end of the poem. What pain has been referred here? The pain of being separated. Remember, in the poem, later on it will be discussed. In the poem, it will be discussed that when Kamla Das was a child. When Kamla Das herself was a child, that time she was a child. When her mother wanted to go in a neighboring house, or for some important purpose, she could not contain herself. Who? Kamla Das, as a child, could not contain herself, could not keep herself at home. She wanted to go along with her mother. Why? She felt a kind of insecurity. The same type of insecurity and the pain of separation. The same kind of expression, so the same kind of feeling she realized. Okay, that she was as old as looked up. Here the poetess says that her face appeared as much old or older as much she herself originally was. She was 66. Her mother was 66, and physically she looked also at the age of 66. There was no difference. Physically also she looked at the age of 66, and she herself, her physical stature was like that of 66. What happens? The body becomes pale or weak or frail, okay, weak. As a person grows older than 60 or more than 60, gradually the body becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. At the age of 66, it is, we can say it is a quite ripe old age. It is quite ripe old age. She was at 66, okay, that she was as old as she looked out. And what happened? Looked out soon. Looked out soon. In order to throw away the idea, okay, just to jerk off the idea, just to forget that idea, just to throw away that idea from the mind, just see, look out of the window. Who looked out of the window? Look out of the window pane of the car. Who looked? Kamla Das herself looked out of the window pane of the car soon, and soon put that thought away. And what she did? She did that. The idea or the thought that had come to her mind that the mother had passed away, perhaps had passed away, and that idea had given her a lot of pain. So she tried to throw away that idea, and in order to throw away the idea, what she did? She looked out of the window of the car, so that there should come the change of mind, and she should forget the pain that she realized for a short while. Okay, and looked out at young trees. When she looked out of the car through the window pane, she saw what she saw. She saw that there were some young trees on the roadsides, either on the both sides or on one side. There were rows of trees. Okay, rows of trees were there, this side or that side. Okay, a lot of trees were there, and the trees were young at age. Young at age, we can say young, not very matured one, not very old one. Okay, they were short at height, and here the what kind of imagery has been used here? Here, imagery has been used here, or we can see here the comparison has been used here. Young trees has been used here. This word has been used to as a contrast to the old woman's face. Here there is a contrast between the old woman, old age, and the young age. Here, on one side, her mother was there. She was there in the car, and she was old, very old, at ripe old age. On the other side, there were young trees. So, to put contrast here, the poet has used the word trees, young trees. And what characteristics are there? In the old age, a person becomes very, what we can say, motionless, or very slow at motion. A person becomes slow at motion, very inactive, we can say, very weak. Okay, and he fears, or she fears, to take even a step further. He or she feels that if a step I take further, I may fall down. My body may not support, my limbs may not support, I may fall down. On the other hand, at a young age, a boy or a girl or a tree at a young age is carefree. It doesn't have to worry about the support of the limbs. Always it supports. Even when a child or a boy or a girl falls down, nothing happens. Generally, the limbs do not break. Do not break. Okay? So trees sprinting, the merry children spilling. Here, young trees have been shown sprinting. What's the meaning of sprinting? Here the situation is when the car moves and on the side of the road there are trees. So in the wind, some motion is created by the force of the car. Some motion is created among the wind. Okay, and that wind applies force upon the trees, and this way the trees are being shaken. Okay, being shaken again and again, and it moves further and moves backward and forward. Okay? And a situation or scene is created as if the trees are competing each other to outdo the speed of each other. One tree tries to outdo the speed of the other. Okay, such type of competition starts there. So that competition to outdo the speed of moving and shaking its branches, everything, that competition has been compared or has been used here or has been signified here. Trees sprinting. The merry children spilling. Merry children spilling. See, children, merry children means happy children. Spilling, such a way, here the imagination has been created or such a scene has been created that children, when they are let free to go out of the house, when it is playtime, game time, or when there is the school break time, the school gets over, okay, or even at home when they study, when the child is being off to play, allowed to go to play, at that time they are very happy. They come out of the house or they come out of the school as if they come out of the stock or come out of come out like a pot that comes out from a stalk. Okay, the children spilling out of their homes, such a way they come out as if it has cracked the cover of the nut or something, break the cover of the nut and it has spilled out of that. Okay, such a way it comes out of the homes. So here both the example of the trees and the young children, here is a contrast against the old age. On one side, the old age is very inactive, the body is weak, limbs are weak, okay, very fragile limbs are there, body is fragile. On the other side, okay, in old age, lot of worries are there. Okay, when a person tries to move, lot of worries occur there in the mind. But on the other side, young trees and young children don't have to worry. They are free to move, free to do any activity because they are carefree. Their health supports them, their body supports them, limbs support them. But after the airport security, by this way, the car was moving and finally the car reached at the door of or at the gate of the airport, and there they went inside the airport at the place where there is security check. Okay, it is a place here. After the security check, now the passenger is allowed to go inside area of the aerodrome so that she could catch the flight. So there she reached security check, standing a few yards. Now general attendant or the person who has gone to drop the friend or relative or anyone, so that person who is the attendant, or we can say that's not allowed to enter into that area where the flight can be caught. So the mother is this side of the security check and Kamla Das is other side of the security check. Okay, in that area, internal area of the aerodrome. So there she is standing, and they are standing face to face. This side the mother and the other side the daughter. Okay, here the situation is that there is the scene of the separation. So the situation of separation is always emotional. Okay, emotion generally occurs in the mind of a person when a person says or bids farewell to the near one or dear one, says goodbye to her in-laws or friends or relative, anyone. So there is a situation here. The mother is separating now from her daughter. So very emotional situation is here. So she is away now. The mother is away from her daughter, and now the daughter Kamla Das has to catch the flight. I looked again at her. Who looked again at her? Kamla Das herself looked again at her. Her refers to the mother. She looked at her mother. She saw the mother. She was there. When she saw, she realized that her facial expression was going down and down. Facial expression was going down. It happens when a person becomes very emotional. He feels like crying, or he or she feels like crying. At that time, when a person becomes very emotional, at that time, okay, the facial expression become pale, yellowish, light yellowish, and there as a late winter's moon. Here, the facial expression of her mother's face has been compared to late winter's moon. Here, again simile has been used. Here, the simile has been used like that of a corpse, and here as a late winter's moon. Again, simile has been used here. As late winter. Late winter means the later part of December, February, January, or maybe February, early part of February. In those days, what happens? Little fogs are being very dense at night. Even if there is moonlit night, that fog is being dense. So in that foggy night, the moonlight becomes very pale and very yellowish, very less. Okay, that type of light is there. So that light, which is pale light, that has been compared to this moon's late winter's moon. Okay, and felt that old familiar ache. Now, who felt that familiar ache? Kamla Das herself felt that ache. So now see the difference between pain and ache. Here the question will also be asked, what pain and what kind of ache has been referred in this problem. So ache is a little lower pain, lower proportion pain, okay, lower intensity pain. Lower intensity pain is called ache, okay. Somehow it is bearable, we can say. Pain is generally unbearable. Generally, pain is deeper, and ache is not so deeper. It can be borne. It can be tolerated or borne, we can say. So familiar ache, my childhood's fear. So what kind of familiar? I told you in the previous line that when Kamla Das's mother had to go somewhere, and when Kamla Das herself was a child, she might have been at the age of 4, 5, 6 or 7, like that, and her mother had to go somewhere, and she would say that stay here, I'm coming in just 2 minutes or 3 minutes. She would not stay. She would start crying because she would feel the sense of separation or insecurity. Why she cried? Everything was there. Nobody was just standing there to cause any kind of damage or any kind of hurt. Nobody could cause her hurt. Nobody was standing there. Even though no danger was there, no danger was lurking over her at that time, then also she could not stay there. Why? Because she felt a kind of insecurity. Okay, insecurity. So is the pain here. So sorry, I want to say that there was a kind of ache. She saw, Kamla saw there was on her mother's face that familiar. This familiar means that she knew, she was known to that ache, that the same ache that she realized there when she was a child. Okay, and that ache she saw on the face of her mother. Okay, her mother's face was waning, turning into yellowish or low pale. My child's fear, my childhood fears, that ache is very similar to the fear that she used to have in her childhood. But all I said was, what, in order to console her mother, what she said. But all I said, I refers to Kamla Das. What Kamla Das said to her mother, what she said to comfort her mother, what she told to assure that nothing could happen with her, nothing is going to happen bad, everything will be fine, or everything will be okay. What she said was, see you soon, Amma. What she could say only, she said that see you soon, we will meet again. I'm coming, I'm with you, I'm there, no problem, don't worry, I'm there with you. I'm going for a short while, but I'll come, I'll take care of you. Don't worry, nothing will happen to you. That she said. Those such type of comforting words in assurance or in order to console her, she said. All I did was smile and smile and smile. What she did, she tried to comfort, and in comforting her, she could smile only and smile, and nothing she could do that time in order to console and in order to comfort. She said, she smiled and smiled and smiled. That's it. Now I tell you something about, or I discuss the questions of this poem. The very first question is here. I've written the question here. There are 4 or 5 questions here. The first question is, what is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? What kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? The poet feels. Here the question is, the poet feels. The pain that she feels, it is a situation when her mother's face appears like that of dead body. She realizes that her mother had passed away. At that time she realized that her mother had passed away. But that was not true. So that time she felt pain. Okay? Because at that time for a short while she had dozed off. She had fell asleep. She had fallen asleep for a short while, but her facial expression appeared like that of dead body. So she felt the pain of separation, final separation from her mother, and that caused her pain. Secondly, ache. Ache is there. Ache, the poet discusses the ache that she used to have in her childhood at the thought that she would live in insecurity when her mother would go anywhere. So she did not allow her mother to go without her. Okay? She wanted to go along with her mother because she could not live alone at home because there was a sense of insecurity. So that pain, that ache she realized in her childhood. In the poem we saw that her mother also at the airport when there was separation, okay, at that time after the security check there, her mother had the same expression on her face. Second question, why are the young trees described as a sprinting? Here the young trees has been described as a sprinting because of the motion of the wind that is created by the running of the car. Running of the car causes a lot of pressure on the wind, and that wind causes pressure on the trees which are young one on the side of the trees, on the side of the road, and that is pressed hard, and that moves furiously. Such a way it moves, or it shakes, it branches, its whole tree moves as if they are sprinting. They are trying to outrun the speed of the other one. One tree is trying to outdo the speed of the other tree. In such a process, or in such a process, they appear to be sprinting, as if they are the runners and they are trying to outdo the speed of each other. Third question, why was the poet brought in the image of the merry children spilling out of their homes? In this poem, the image of the merry children has been brought to put as a contrast against the old age of her mother. Whereas the old age needs a lot of care and attention and is full of worries that he or she will walk and may fall down. May her body or his body may not support, okay? And if he or she will fall down, her limbs may break, or any part of the body or any part of the bone can break, okay? Or something may happen, something bad may happen. That type of worries are there. On the other hand, at the young age, children are free, they are freeless, they are carefree, they are full of freedom, means carefree. They have nothing to worry about their lives or something. Even if they fall down, nothing is going to happen. They are carefree. Okay. Now next is, why has the mother been compared to the late moon? Here the mother has been compared to the late moon because the facial expression of the mother has gone when there was moment of separation from her daughter. Her daughter was going to catch the flight. She was at the security check, okay, and she realized that now she would be alone. She would be alone. And as it is said, the old age is the second childhood. Old age is the second childhood. In childhood again, we need more and more care, as children need more and more care from the elders or from the elder ones or near ones or dear ones. Similarly, old age also needs care and attention. Okay, and when she realized that there was separation, and she also felt that she would have to be alone there at home at Malabar, so that her emotion, she became emotional, and there was the expression of the late winter moon. She realized that something may happen, and when she would be in need of care, nobody would be there at home because her daughter was going to Mumbai. Okay. Now the last question is, what do the parting words of the poet and her signify? The poetess Kamla uses the comforting word "See you soon, Amma." See you soon, Amma. In Malayalam language, mother is also called lovingly Amma. Amma. That we are here in Bihar we call mother or Ma. Like that they also call Amma. So she tried to comfort her by saying, "See you soon. Farewell thee, Amma. Farewell you, Amma." That means nothing going to. You may be under the safeguard of God. God will care for you. Okay, nothing to worry about. Everything will be okay or fine. And she just smiled and smiled to comfort her, so that she could not feel. She could not cry like child in old age. As a child, suddenly, easily, very quickly, at a trifle matter also can cry. Such type of nature or such type of situation becomes there with a person who becomes old. There also emotion comes very quickly, very easily. Okay.